Hi guys, I hope you're all doing well. Welcome to the channel today if you're a new listener, which you most likely are. Thank you for coming to join me on my commute to work. I won't mess around, we'll get straight into it. So we're going through the weekend's fixtures today. So we'll start with, well, the big game for me, which was Man United, Arsenal of course. For those of you who don't know, I am an Arsenal fan. So I was watching the game and I don't know, it was kind of a sense of here we go again sort of thing with Arsenal. I know we obviously had the 7-1 win at PSV in the week, and I did say in my predictions video on Friday, if you haven't watched it, well, go back and watch it, that it would be typical of us to actually drop points there. You know, I'm pretty sure I said that in the video. I originally thought, I did think we'd win, I didn't think we would struggle, but David Raya basically got us that point, because we were not convincing whatsoever. It was a really lackluster performance, I thought, for most of the game. I think we started quite sharp and fast, and we were peppering shots off, but they weren't shots that were ever troubling Onana, apart from maybe the Trossard one. We took that quality touch inside and then tried whipping it, but they weren't shots that were troubling Onana. Like Merino had a little pot shot here. Odegaard looked a bit better at times in the first half, you know, a bit snappier, less of the scoops, less of the flicks, a bit more sharp on it. But in the main, I thought we were really slack. We didn't punish United enough, you know, they sat deep and we just didn't look to even try and have long shots. The one time we did, it wasn't even a long shot from us, it was on like just inside the box. But we didn't do that enough. We didn't try and cut the ball back enough, which is what like a prime Man City would have done. Prime Man City was literally cut back central. All it was get to the byline, cut back, goal. Like, that was prime Man City, and we just didn't do that enough in this game. Had we done it, I think we'd have won pretty comfortably, you know. But yeah, it's just, I think we've come to expect it of Arsenal now a little bit as fans, that we're not going to win every week. I've seen Paul Merson say we're now closer to 5th than 1st, so we need to be careful with top 4. And he's not wrong, but I also think we're not going to drop out of top 4. So the league, you can kind of, that's what I'm saying with my Arsenal video at the weekend for the Champions League. You have to throw all the eggs in that basket now, because you've got no other competition to go for. The league's done. You have to use the league to try and find solutions for the Champions League, because the Merino experiment is dead. I think we've seen it now. It's dead. Okay, it doesn't work against a half decent defence. The United defence isn't even half decent, but they defended as a block. You know, so if you go to Atletico Madrid, let's say they get through, and they sit there, you're not going to get past them with Merino. It's the same with Madrid came to the Emirates and didn't like dominate the game. They sat in like they did against Man City before. Like, you're not going to win the game with Merino there. So yeah, he needs to find a solution for this, and he can't just wait for Saka and Martinelli to come back. I know Martinelli, he's not been on the form this season, and he's not going to fix everything anyway. But it just feels like we're waiting for Saka, you know. It's like we're all just waiting for him, and he might not be the sharpest guy back when he gets back into the team. It's going to take him a couple of weeks, and we won't have a couple of weeks of the Champions League looming in April. So Arteta needs to now kill this experiment and try something new. But this is one thing with Arteta, I love the man, but once he finds something, he does tend to stick to it. Like, he stays very stubborn. He doesn't like to change what he's planned, if that makes sense. Like, if he finds something and it works a couple of times, he'll keep it. He just will. Like, no matter what, until something else, until he finds something else, which is way down the line. Like, it takes about 6 months to change. And we don't have that time this season, you know. He needs to try and fix some stuff up. He needs to try something. He needs to play the kids in the week against PSV. We need to play a weakened team there. rest players, give some minutes to other players that haven't played that much this season. Give Kivior a game, give Tierney a start, just play Nwaneri in a false 9 maybe for 60 minutes, see how it goes. He needs to try something, because otherwise we're just going to peter out in the Champions League as well. If we end up going out in the quarterfinals again 2 years in a row, it'll be very annoying. But it just depends on the circumstances you go out in. If you're up against Real Madrid, you put in a real fight and they're just better than you, or they get like a lucky goal or a penalty or something like that, then fair enough. But yeah, it used to be frustration, but I think we've all accepted that the league's done now. Or it's done what it was done before the game. So it's kind of just like the season just feels over a little bit. Like, I know it's not over because we're in the Champions League, but it just feels like it, because it doesn't feel like we're going to do anything in that competition unless something changes, unless Saka comes back and hits the ground running, and he gets the rest out of Odegaard, and then Ben White gets his full fitness back at the same time. There's some things that can happen to pick everything back up again, but it's just feeling a bit deflation right now, and that's probably me just being spoiled as an Arsenal fan. We're second in the league, and I'm saying I feel a bit spoiled. I feel a bit deflated. So that's probably just me, but that's because the expectations have been raised to such a high level now that a 1-1 draw with United away feels meh. I don't feel anything from it. I watched the game and I'm like, had it not been for David Raya, we would have lost that game, because he was outstanding. And I do think there's a conversation that needs to be had with David Raya that he has been the best goalkeeper in the league this season. I think Alisson is world class, is still the best goalkeeper in the world, don't get me wrong. I think he is the best goalkeeper in the world. I think Courtois is still up there, but I just think Alisson's better. But David Raya has played every game this season, and he's been outstanding for us. If we didn't have David Raya, we would probably be about 6 to 8 points worse off. I think back to the start of the season where he was putting out world-class saves basically every week for about 3 or 4 weeks straight. So yeah, I think there's definitely a conversation that needs to be had there at some point. Maybe in the team of the season time. I think if I'm doing my team of the season currently, I am picking David Raya pretty much hands down. Like, it's not even a debate for me. Alisson's played about 2/3 of the season, so you can't really give it to him. He's played about 20 games maybe. But yeah, that's the Arsenal game. That's what the season is for me now. It's just put me to sleep a bit. There's a lack of energy, and he needs to find something to get that energy picked back up for the rest of the season. Otherwise, it's just going to peter out and be a bit just another season missed, really, if we don't do anything this season. Anyway, that's enough time spent on Arsenal. We'll move across to the other big game yesterday, Spurs against Bournemouth. So 2-2 draw. I'm not really sure how Spurs got out with a point from that game, to be honest with you. I thought Bournemouth were class. I mean, they created chances. They should have got 1 or 2 more. Evan Nilsson definitely should have got another goal. He should have punished Spurs in the first half, where they literally passed in the ball and he just couldn't quite get it in the corner enough. But they look like the Bournemouth they were before in terms of when they had everyone else fit, and they have a bit more structure up the front of the pitch. I know that they rotate, but it gives them that focal point at the top. He's always there, and his movement is really good. You saw it on his second goal. He just peeled off the defender and just able to slot it home there, or chip it home, sorry. But yeah, I thought Bournemouth were really impressive again. They couldn't hold out. I don't know what to say, really. I mean, 2-0 up away from home, you should probably shut up shop, maybe take off one of your forwards. But who am I to tell Iraola what to do? You know, he's been manager of the season along with Nuno for me this season. I know Slot's been unreal, but them two are punching above their weight in terms of where everyone thought they'd be. They should have been 2-0 up earlier on when Semenyo. Oh yes, Semenyo has no reason to be offside. If you haven't watched the goals, go watch the highlights on Sky Sports. And Semenyo's about 3 yards into the opposition half when they're all on the halfway line. Obviously, we know he's supposed to play a high line, but it's just really poor for Semenyo. All he has to do is come back a little bit. It's not like he needs it. He doesn't run with the ball. He literally just lays it back off to the player. So, yeah, it's just really poor for Semenyo. He should have just come back a bit. And it would have been 2-0 earlier on then. And then Bournemouth would probably get another one from the way they were playing. And they probably should have got another one later in the game when they were on the counter. Clive had a chance. But, yeah, they couldn't hold out. Pape Sarr, I'd love to know if it was a shot or a cross to his goal. If you haven't seen it, he kind of does like, it reminds me like the Ronaldinho free kick from a bit closer, but like the same sort of angle, and it kind of just loops it off the post. So I'd love to know if he meant to do that or not. When I'm watching the game, I think he does it. It's no way he's meant that. That's definitely a cross. But maybe he did, because the way he celebrated, he was just like, yeah, right, standard. And then the penalty at the end is just kept Arrizabalaga for you, really. He's been good this season for Bournemouth, and then he just goes and does that, and it's like, why? Why have you gone to ground there? He's going nowhere. He's running into the byline. Just pull your hands back. Just pull them back. I don't know why he commits to it. He's like, he wants to be the hero all the time. And the thing with being the keeper is, if you try to be a hero as a goalkeeper, it never works out. You know, you end up flapping it across, or you'll parry a ball back into the middle, or you'll concede a penalty. That's just how it is. So yeah, disappointing for Bournemouth. I thought they'd win that game, and they were for a long time. I thought, call this bang on, you know, and they probably should have won the game, but they got punished for not holding out. Sorry, I'm still waking up here, you know, it's been quite a long weekend. So we look at Chelsea. Let's go to Chelsea quickly. 1-0 against Leicester, and they still look very rigid. They don't look as fluid as they were. Cole Palmer's obviously missed another opportunity at goal with that penalty miss, but it wasn't actually a bad penalty. It's not quite in the corner, which you expect from Palmer, but it's just a really good save, and it's come at a bad time for Palmer. His confidence is probably already a bit knocked, and it's going to be even more so after that penalty miss. I thought he'd get back on track in that game, but Chelsea they just never feel like they get going in the game. Like, they never build up steam. But fair play to Correa. Whatever he's done has worked this season. He's come off that Euros, and he's probably been the best left back in the league outside of maybe Anthony Robinson. You put Tyreek Mitchell in there with a shout as well. But yeah, I think he's been class. It's quite annoying to say that, because he is quite a polarising player, you know, with his actions in the Euros and stuff. But you got to rate him as a player, I do at least. And he scored a great goal, you know, drilled it from outside the box, great finish. And yeah, Chelsea sneak back into the top 4. But do I think they'll keep there if they keep going like this? No. But then I look at Maresca last season at Leicester, and the exact same thing happened when he was at Leicester, and they still got over the line in terms of getting promoted and winning the championship. So maybe they'll find a solution to what ails them and get over the line for top 4. But they're up against Leicester and they looked awkward. That's the word I'm looking for before. They look awkward. Like, they don't look like they know what's going on. Maybe Nicholas Jackson being out is actually a bigger miss than... We know he's a big miss, but maybe he's actually bigger than we thought. Which says a lot for the player, because he gets a lot of criticism, and he should do it at times with his finishing, but maybe him as an overall player needs a bit more respect and a bit more flowers given to him, you know? Anyway, we'll move back on to Saturday now, and I think I've got to start with Forest against City. I obviously went for a draw before this game. I didn't think City would win. That was one thing I was pretty certain on. I didn't think City would win, and it came to fruition. You know, when I saw that De Bruyne again wasn't starting, I was thinking, why? Pep is a weird manager in that sense. Like, I don't understand why he wouldn't start De Bruyne in that game when you know Forest play a low block. I know they're playing transition, but if you've got De Bruyne in there and against a low block, he's what he loves. He can find that pass to unlock it. And I saw when he wasn't playing, I was like, yeah, they're not going to score that many goals here. And they didn't have many chances. They had Haaland's little, well, it's a chance for Haaland when Wood gave it away to him, and then the Kovacic one when Forest again gave them the ball on the edge of the box. But otherwise, they didn't look like they created anything of any serious note. And Forest, they gave up a lot of the possession, a lot of the ball that we expect them to, but they never looked that uncomfortable, you know. And at the other end, I thought Hudson-Odoi was electric again. And this is what I've been saying. He's come back from his injury, and it's like it's recharged him again. Because obviously he was on fire at the start of the season. Forest were on fire, and then he's picked up an injury, and he's just come back straight into it. And he was unlucky not to get a goal earlier in the game when Ederson pulled out a fantastic save. I know the commentators that were giving him a lot of praise at the time, and it was an absolutely outstanding save. Having played in goal a little bit myself, I can appreciate, you know, a deflection in the last second, and he's had to just get down and slap it onto the post. It's a really, really top save. But then he lets himself down with that second, with the actual goal. I know it gets a slight deflection off Guardiola, but he has to be saving that Ederson. And it's not. It's one of them goals where it goes in, you look at it and you go, hang on, that wasn't right. That should never gone in. There's always them goals you look at and you go, that didn't feel like it should have gone in. And it shouldn't have. He should have dealt with that better. Maybe it took him by surprise, because even when I was watching it, I see obviously Gibbs White pings the ball out, and you can see Gibbs White sprinting after, like he literally breaks his neck to get to the box. So I'm looking at it going, oh, the cutback's on. Maybe Ederson has just thought, oh, he's going to go for the cutback here, you know, he's open. So I'm going to start thinking about shifting over. And once you start thinking about shifting over as a keeper, your mind goes away from where the ball currently is. Like, I'm speaking from experience here. It's like if you're talking to your teammates, and all of a sudden they have a shot out, and they can take an early shot. It's like, oh, fuck, like they've actually shot. So that's all I'm thinking potentially might have happened with Ederson, is that he's gone to shuffle over. Like in his head, he's getting ready to shuffle over. He hasn't actually moved his feet yet, but that's checked him out of the ball a little bit. And obviously he's had a shot. He's gone, oh, flapped it and it's gone in. So yeah, they were. Yeah, it looks like Ederson's going to be going in the summer, and fair play if he gets this Saudi move. You know, he's going to secure the bag. He's been a great goalkeeper for Man City, I think. I think he gets a lot of stick in this last season. But he's been a top goalkeeper. At one point, I remember maybe 2018, 19 times, when it was between Alisson and Ederson, I was always picking Ederson, just because of how he revolutionised the keeper position again, you know. That's what I want from my keeper a lot. I know I want my keeper to save shots, and he was actually a very good shot stopper for a long time. People don't give him the credit he deserves for that, because you've got to think, Man City back in the day, they used to concede the same chances they did now, and he was saving them. Like, the amount of one-on-ones he used to save was crazy. But yeah, he's just slowed down a bit, it looks like. So he looks like he'll be off in the summer, and they should give him his flowers when he does go. Hopefully they do. Next we'll go Liverpool Southampton. So obviously this was a 3 o'clock game, so I couldn't actually watch this game, but let's keep track of the scores coming through and the goals. And everyone was just shocked when we realised Southampton won up. It's like, what? No, not a chance, you're joking, right? But there was always a sense of inevitability of like, well, Liverpool aren't going to lose, are they? Like, they're not going to lose Southampton. They're too good for that. And it's just how it works, you know. They conceded a sloppy goal with Alisson and Van Dijk. Trust that to happen after he's had a man of the match performance, probably one of the best performances in Champions League history as a goalkeeper, and they have a mix up in their own box against Southampton, the bottom team in the league, you know. It's just the sort of thing that happens. But yeah, it was just stable at Liverpool, really. Got themselves out of a tight situation and dragged themselves through. Salah again with 2 goals. No, they're both penalties. It takes up to like 32 goals now, something, 33 goals now, something, all comps. And he's having an all-time season. You could put it up there with Cristiano Ronaldo. It's arguably a better season. It's arguably the best season someone's put in the Premier League ever. And I kind of want to have a look at that at some point as a video, and just have a look at who competes with him, because right now it just feels like he's unstoppable. You go into a game and it's like, well, has Salah assisted or Salah scored? Which one was it? Was it both? Like, it's ridiculous. He's putting up Messi sort of numbers, which is crazy. But yeah, it's just same old Liverpool, you know. That's why they are top of the league. I know it's Southampton, but you know, you can only beat who's in front of you, and that's what they did. What else can we briefly touch on? Everton Wolves. I thought that was a great point for Wolves. Probably a fair result on the balance of the game, and I thought they did really well to get a point without Mateus Cunha in the team. And I think they're going to be fine now. I don't see Ipswich winning 3 games, and think Wolves need to win 1 and get maybe a draw. So I don't see Wolves needing to stress too much now. I think they'll be through fine. And then I need to give a shout out to Brighton Fulham quickly, because that was a game that I said to look out for, with both teams fighting for Europe. And I was saying that, oh yeah, they need to give a bit more credit to this fixture, and they didn't really. You know, it just didn't really get any momentum apart from the last minute penalty. Brighton probably deserved to win the game on the balance of play, but it did come late, obviously, with the last minute penalty from João Pedro, and he probably should have got a goal earlier in the game, to be fair. Oh. Sorry guys, quickly finish this up. Yeah, they probably should have finished it up earlier in the game, Brighton, but left it late. They got their win, which could be massive for them. I think that's probably a dagger in the heart to Fulham. It's probably pushed them a bit too far away now for them to secure Europa League. Maybe they can get Conference League if other things go their way. But I think Brighton, that's massive, a confidence boost for them as well, because when you beat teams in and around you, it's just an extra boost, you know. I think they've won 4 on the bounce now, Brighton. So they're looking good, and I think they might have just found their system for them. I think João Pedro's looking like he's getting back to that top form. Minter's coming alive now. Mitoma was quiet yesterday, but he's always capable. And Rutte, I think, is a really good little snip they got from Leeds. I know it's 40 mil, but he looks like a good player. And if that front four is really exciting for Brighton, they just need to make sure they keep it tight in the defence. That's the only thing with Brighton. They used to be, or they were a leaky side until that 7-0, and then since then they've been a bit more solid, you know. But yeah, I haven't. There's any games that I've missed out on. Probably another one of the 3 o'clock games. Aston Villa, Brentford. Fair play to Villa for getting the win. I thought they would struggle a bit more, but they got it over the line. That's all that matters at this point for the Villa. You know, they have to just get these results over the line if they want to make a push for Europe. I think that is all the games I can think of. I probably missed one. Ipswich, wasn't it? Ipswich against Palace, which you can't really blame you for missing. 1-0 for Crystal Palace. It's kind of what we expected. I thought they'd been 2-1, but again, it's one of them ones. They got it over the line. Without Mateta in the team, they just have to win. That's all they can do, really. So they did their job there. Their defense is actually pulling out some clean sheets numbers now. Like in the past, month or two, they've been really, really stingy at the back, and that's what's getting them these results. On the other hand, Ipswich, like I said, I just don't see much hope for Ipswich now. I think everyone wanted them to do well. It was like Luton last season, but I think they've got less about them actually than Luton in a way. Because Luton were an awkward team to play in terms of the style of play, going to Kenilworth Road, and it's just, I don't know. They've got nice players, but nice players aren't necessarily the ones you want for the relegation scrap, you know. But yeah, I'll be off to the Newcastle West Ham game tonight, so I'm excited for that. Hopefully, well, I actually kind of hope West Ham beat Newcastle just because that makes Newcastle fan be quite funny. Anyway, thank you for coming along today, and I hope you enjoyed the video. See you guys later. Peace.